Welcome to Cheaters True Stories, where we share real-life tales of relationships that push beyond conventional boundaries. Today, we bring you an emotional and unexpected journey that begins on what seemed like an ordinary night in a hot tub, only to spiral into changes no one could have predicted. If this topic makes you uncomfortable or if you're not of age, please stop here. But if you're ready, join us as we dive into Alex's story and the moments that altered his life forever. A cool evening breeze grazed my skin as I lounged in the backyard, my mind adrift in a sea of thoughts. The soft, rhythmic gurgling of the nearby hot tub wove a calming melody, an unexpected contrast to the stillness that blanketed the house. Usually this place thrummed with life, especially when Emma, my stepmother, unleashed one of her legendary gatherings. But tonight it was just me, cradling a glass of wine I'd pilfered from the fridge, savoring the solitude. I'm Alex, 22, freshly graduated and crashing at home while I map out my next move. It's not a bad deal. Nights like this, quiet and uncomplicated, are a perk. Or so I thought. The sharp slide of the glass door jolted me from my daydream. I glanced over to see Emma stepping outside, trailed by a couple of her friends, their soft laughter and clinking glasses signaling a lively mood. It took mere seconds for their eyes to land on me. "Alex, what were you doing out here all by yourself?" Emma's voice danced through the air, laced with that familiar teasing lilt I'd come to know well. I shrugged, caught off guard, my words stalling. I hadn't expected company, especially not hers. As they drew closer, I caught the subtle outlines of bikinis peeking from beneath their robes, a clear sign the hot tub was their destination. Chloe, one of Emma's friends, flashed me a warm, playful smile. "You should join us," she said, her voice a breezy invitation tinged with a tease. Before I could muster a reply, Emma swept in beside me, deftly snatching the wine glass from my grip. Her eyes glinted with mischief as she chimed, "Come on, don't be shy, the water's divine tonight." I wavered, a cocktail of thrill and unease swirling within me. The way their gazes lingered, expectant and coaxing, made refusal feel like an uphill battle. After a beat of hesitation, I gave in, nodding as I rose to my feet. Chloe and Olivia, Emma's other friend, a familiar face from past gatherings, shed their robes with giggles that danced through the night, their laughter a contagious melody that lit up the air. They eased into the steaming water with effortless grace, leaving me hovering at the edge, still grappling with a flicker of awkwardness. "The water's perfect," Emma teased, punctuating her words with a sly wink. Resistance melted away and I stepped in, the heat wrapping around me like a comforting embrace, dissolving knots of tension I hadn't even clocked. I sank into my spot, the warmth seeping into my bones, all too aware of Emma settling in close beside me. "Unwind," Olivia urged, her voice a gentle nudge wrapped in warmth. "We're all here to enjoy the moment." Emma pressed another glass of wine into my hand, her fingers grazing mine with a lingering touch that felt deliberate, electric. Whether it was the hot tub's soothing embrace, the wine's subtle buzz, or the company I kept, the tightness in my chest began to unravel. Laughter wove through our chatter, punctuated by playful splashes, the night unfolding with an effortless rhythm. Yet beneath the surface, a quiet tension hummed, unseen but felt. Every so often I'd catch a glance from one of them, their eyes holding something elusive, a riddle I couldn't quite solve. As time slipped by, Emma edged nearer, her shoulder now a soft, steady pressure against mine. Her voice flowed around me, and every so often her hand would settle on my arm, resting there with quiet intent. I tried to keep my composure, but my pulse betrayed me, hammering in my chest. Chloe and Olivia's gazes flicked our way, their knowing smiles glinting like a silent challenge, urging me to act. Yet I stayed rooted, adrift in uncertainty about where this tide was pulling us. The air thickened, alive with a restless energy I couldn't pin down. Emma leaned in, her breath a warm whisper against my ear. "You're so tense, Alex. Let us melt that away. A shiver raced down my spine, sharp and electric. I glanced at Chloe and Olivia, who were drifting closer now, their eyes fixed on me with unspoken intent. Chloe's smile deepened, a slow, stomach-flipping curve of her lips that stirred the haze around me. The heat of the water, the wine's gentle blur, and their nearness wove a dreamlike fog over everything. Emma's lips grazed my cheek, light, teasing, a spark of playfulness, while Chloe and Olivia's soft giggles rippled through the air. The tension coiled tighter, thrumming with every fleeting second. The world beyond the hot tub seemed to dissolve, leaving only the pulse of this moment. Emma's hand glided down my arm, her touch now bold and purposeful. This had long crossed the line from innocent play. Chloe and Olivia were woven into the thread of it, their eyes holding mine with a steady, smoldering weight, their laughter a soft, beckoning hum. My thoughts scattered, unmoored. Emma's voice slipped into the air again, a hushed murmur against my skin. "We've been waiting for this, you know," her words stealing the breath from my lungs. The water swirled around us, warm and lulling, but it paled against the heat sparking between our bodies. Emma's lips traced my neck, a feather-light tease that set me ablaze. Chloe and Olivia closed in, their hands roaming, their lips brushing my skin in fleeting, electric grazes. I was enveloped, every glance met with a tender touch, every breath met with a body pressing nearer. It teetered on overwhelming, yet it was intoxicating in its pull. Chloe leaned in, her hand sliding up my chest as her lips found mine, soft yet sure, a kiss I couldn't resist returning. My hands drifted to her waist, guided by instinct. Olivia lingered close, her fingers trailing down my arm, her lips grazing my jaw. "You deserve this," she murmured, her gaze locking with mine, a quiet question shimmering in her eyes. My voice came out low, husky, but words eluded me. I could only nod, my heart a wild drumbeat. Olivia's lips met mine in a slow, searing kiss that deepened with every second. Emma's hand slid to my thigh, her intent unmistakable, and I shifted deliberately to ease her way. Moments later, my swimwear was gone, the warm water rushing against my bare skin in a thrilling surge. I drew a steadying breath, resolve igniting, and reached for Emma. My hands found her curves, gently peeling away her swimsuit. Chloe and Olivia shed theirs in turn, swift and unhesitating, until the three of us were bare in the bubbling embrace of the water. Their bodies were a gallery of beauty, each distinct and mesmerizing. Emma's lush curves, Chloe's sculpted strength, Olivia's fluid elegance, almost too much to absorb at once. What unfolded next blurred into a cascade of sensation. Silken skin against mine, the warm water cradling us, tender touches that deepened into something fearless with every fleeting second. I lost myself in exploration, first Emma, then Chloe, then Olivia, each encounter a singular flame, searing itself into the fabric of my memory. At one point, I rose to my feet, the night air sharp and bracing against the heat of the water. Emma and Chloe gravitated toward me, their focus a dizzying spotlight that set my mind reeling. The twin press of their lips was a revelation, a sensation so vivid it defied anything I'd known before. The intensity swelled, cresting until I couldn't hold it back any longer. When it passed, we sank back into the water, basking in the warmth. The wild rush had ebbed, leaving us steeped in a quiet, glowing aftermath. Eventually, Emma let out a soft sigh, her smile gentle as it met mine. "That was something," she murmured, her voice a hush. Chloe and Olivia nodded, their playful grins resurfacing, though the air had settled into a tender calm. One by one they climbed out, wrapping themselves in towels, their soft laughter trailing behind as they slipped back into the house. Emma lingered longest, casting me a final glance over her shoulder, her eyes glinting with a knowing spark. "Night, Alex," she said, her voice a velvet whisper, before vanishing inside with the others. I stayed in the hot tub a while longer, letting the water's warmth cradle me. My heart still raced, but the night's fervor had drawn to a close. It had been a storm of intensity, raw and indelible. Leaning back, I closed my eyes, a faint smile tugging at my lips. After tonight, nothing would feel the same. I could sense it, a mix of nerves and anticipation flickering within me. Unbeknownst to me, this was merely the opening note of a summer poised to rewrite everything. The next morning, I woke to a dull throb in my temples and a torrent of memories crashing in. For a fleeting moment, I wondered if it had all been a fevered dream. The hot tub, Emma, Chloe, Olivia, too surreal to be true. But as the fog of sleep lifted, reality sharpened. It had happened, vivid and undeniable. The house lay silent as I padded downstairs, half bracing myself to find Emma in the kitchen. It was empty, save for a note scrawled on the counter. Out for brunch with the girls, back later. Relief washed over me. I wasn't ready to face her, not yet. I needed space to untangle the whirlwind of the night before. As I nursed my coffee, memories of the night before flooded back. Emma's piercing gaze, the press of Chloe's lips, Olivia's featherlight touch. They replayed in vivid strokes, inescapable. Yet in the stark morning light, a pang of guilt twisted in my chest. Emma was my stepmother, Chloe and Olivia her confidants. What had I stumbled into? The front door creaked open, jolting me from my spiral. Emma breezed in, radiant and unruffled, her smile faltering just a fraction when our eyes met. Was it nerves or something electric? "Morning," she said, her tone airy. "Sleep okay?" I managed a nod, words caught in my throat. She busied herself with tea, the silence stretching taut between us until she turned, her expression softening. "About last night," she started, and my pulse surged. "I hope it didn't leave you uneasy." I shook my head. Not uneasy, just caught off guard. Her smile warmed. "It wasn't rehearsed, if that's what's on your mind, it just unfolded. We talked it through, airing out the weight of it. She assured me Chloe and Olivia would keep it close, that the hot tub secrets were ours alone. She added gently that she didn't regret it, but if I wanted to erase it, she'd respect that. Could I, though? Did I want to? Days bled into one another, and that night refused to fade. Emma's touch, Chloe's soft gasps, the taste of Olivia's kiss, they etched deeper into me. A week later, routine seemed to reclaim us. Emma and I moved through our usual dance, the night unmentioned. But a current simmered beneath it, a restless energy that hadn't existed before. One evening, a knock on my door broke the quiet. "Can we talk?" Emma asked. I nodded, shutting my laptop as she perched on my bed's edge, her silky robe stirring memories of that night. "I've been thinking," she said, voice hushed, "about what happened. Wondering if you'd want to explore more." My heart kicked into overdrive. "What do you mean?" I asked, though her intent shimmered clear. She slid closer, her hand resting on my knee. "Just us if you're up for it." Reason screamed no, she was my stepmother, but her touch, her eyes, they drowned it out. "Okay," I breathed. "Let's see." That night unfolded in slow, deliberate waves. We traced each other's edges, learning what sparked gasps, what drew moans, quieter than the hot tub's chaos, richer in its intimacy. Afterward, as we lay entwined, Emma's fingers sketched patterns on my chest. "This shifts things," she murmured. I nodded. She was right. Our bond had tilted, irreversible now. Weeks unfurled and a new rhythm took hold. By day, we wore our stepmother-stepson masks. By night, behind locked doors, we unraveled this hidden thread. It wasn't just bodies. Words flowed too, revelations we'd never dared before. I glimpsed her past, her dreams, her shadows. She held space for my fears, my restless ambitions. One night, tangled in sheets, she propped herself up, eyes searching mine. "Alex, I need to ask something," she said, her voice catching grave. "How'd you feel about others joining us sometimes?" I blinked, startled. "Like Chloe and Olivia," she nodded. "They've been asking after you." I waited, excitement flared, but a jealous twinge shadowed it. "We don't have to," she said, reading me. "I'm happy with just us." But the allure of variety tugged. I pulled her close, my answer sealed in a deep kiss. "Let's try," I said, breaking away. "But you're my anchor." Her smile glowed. "In your heart," she whispered. The next weekend, Chloe and Olivia arrived for Emma's private party. The old nerves were gone, replaced by a thrumming anticipation. In the living room, music hummed low as wine loosened our edges, flirtation sparking. Clothes fell away, hands roamed, and soon I led them to the bedroom. This time I steered the night, confident, sure, hours blurring as we wove together in every way imaginable. In the stillness after, I marveled at their differences. Emma's fierce passion, Chloe's wild play, Olivia's tender sensuality. Together they spun a tapestry beyond dreaming. Emma's gaze met mine, brimming with love and heat. I wouldn't trade it. Months rolled on, our strange harmony enduring. Emma and I deepened at the core, Chloe and Olivia flaring in as occasional embers. It wasn't flawless. Jealousy flickered, doubts crept, fears loomed. What if someone uncovered us? What if feelings shifted? We navigated it with raw honesty, always talking it through. One night after the others had gone, Emma and I curled on the couch. She turned, her face solemn. "Alex, I need to say something," she said, voice trembling. My chest tightened, braced for an end. "I think I'm falling in love with you," she confessed. Relief crashed through me, then joy. "Emma," I said, cradling her face, "I've been in love with you for a while." That night we made love with a raw, unguarded fire. Afterward we mapped a future, unorthodox, misunderstood by most but ours. As summer faded to fall, we settled into it. Stepmother and stepson to the world, lovers in shadow. Chloe and Olivia spiced our nights now and then, but Emma and I were the heartbeat. One crisp autumn evening, we sat on the porch, sunset bleeding orange and pink across the sky. "You know," Emma said, eyes dancing, "I never thought that hot tub night would lead here." I laughed, drawing her close as dusk fell. Looking back, those months had been a tempest of awakening, pleasure, love, all born from that reckless night. Challenges loomed ahead, no doubt. But with Emma in my arms, her warmth against me, I knew we'd face them together. We lingered there, wrapped in each other, the moment a quiet promise of more. Stars pricked the sky, and I wished, not for change, but for this. A life I'd never sought, found in a hot tub's unexpected glow.
And that's Alex's journey. A summer that started with curiosity in a hot tub and ended in an unforeseen love, woven with complex and passionate moments. Though challenges lie ahead, Alex and Emma have chosen to face them together, in a bond unlike any other. If this subject unsettles you or you're not old enough, we suggest pausing before our next story. Thanks for tuning in to TIS True Infidelity Story. Share your thoughts in the comments below, and don't forget to subscribe for more. See you next time.